This is episode 23 of Maelstrom Radio.
Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Flatus and Shinder.
And welcome everybody to the episode of 23s of Maelstrom Radio. I am Flatus. With me as always is my co-host with the mo-host. It is Shin.
I don't know how many 23s we have today, but
I don't know.
How many 23s do we have?
I'll be 32. So if you reverse it.
We have a slightly dyslexic 23.
Kind of. Almost.
Being a little late today, I almost forgot to send out the tweet to probably tell people that we're doing things.
It would help. It would give people something to watch on a Monday when they have nothing else to do. I'm assuming nobody has anything to do, so they come and watch us on Mondays.
Well, it's the end of the week. There's not a whole bunch of everyone's done all of their queues, their raids. They're waiting for the reset tomorrow. So what better time than to come and join it with us?
Yeah, that's how it should go down.
Or go and binge watch shows on Netflix. Both are good options.
Or do both.
That's preferable, yeah.
Yeah, you take a break from watching the Santa Clarita Diet. Is that the new hype on Netflix now? The Drew Barrymore show?
I think so, yes.
Or she's like a zombie, I think. Or some flesh eater. Something. I don't know. I liked Unfortunate Events. That was fantastic. So, speaking of unfortunate events.
Starting it off right.
There you go. Garuda Gang, our FC is recruiting on Fanfrit. So listen, if you're sitting there in Final Fantasy and you're like, I'm enjoying this, but I want a better experience, then I would say come over to Fanfrit and join us. Pretty sure there's a million other guilds out there that probably offer you about the same thing we could offer you, but you probably get a little less from them than you will get from us. What we can offer you is comedy, hijinks, laughter, maybe crying. We don't know. That last part may be from laughter. Or not. I'm not sure.
Maybe from laughter. Just putting that out there. Maybe.
Only maybe. So you can find us on Fanfrit. That's on Primal. GG is our little tag. You can apply to the guild. You can also hit up Shinter's Arette. My name in game is Cypher Blackfire. That's BLACKFYRRE. Oh my god, I fucked up my own name.
Having trouble spelling already.
So bad. So, we started late today because we had so many issues getting the show started. Skype is an asshole. I cannot wait to get rid of Skype.
Skype is our bane. Dear
God. Discord, I know you guys are currently, I saw the previews for the video. It's so close. So close. Listen, I understand why people take their shows in game. Like, honestly, we wouldn't even have to fuck with Skype. Just take it in game. We do. Sometimes it's easier. Anyway, so recruits we're trying to get Sprouts returning. Fire Starflowers. So any little Starflowers out there, if you're returning, join us. Crafters, Raiders, and we're trying to build a small FC static. So how that works is that Shin and I are a little old school. We kind of like the static to be within the FC. It's a little bit of beat on our chest and say, hey, listen, not only did we clear the content, but our FC cleared the content. I enjoy that. Shin's probably enjoying that too. So we want to do that, and you could be a part of that team. Nothing against Party Finder. We'll party up with our friends and stuff and clear content, but we kind of got a thing for, if taking those pictures and all have that GG across their head. So speaking of GG, I would like to give some people giveaways, and we want to give you free stuff, and giving you free stuff is pretty cool. So all you have to do for this one, you have 6 days left on this one. You just need to write a quick, shoot us an email just saying, hey, the Spider-Man shirt was samurai and here's why, or hey, the Spider-Man shirt meant blue mage and here's why, or hey, the Spider-Man shirt meant photographer, and for whatever
Always
reason,
got bonus points for photographer.
Shin wants you to do that. If you do that, listen, random person or best, I mean, if you somehow make the best argument I've ever heard on paper, you may just win. But you get your choice of the White Devil or Red Baron mount. That's free. That's the recolor, the Magitech mount. So the ongoing race to 100 on YouTube, though, I'm going to change that. I think we need to amp that up a bit. I think that's a long-term goal. I think that needs to get upped up. I think I want to get people, rather, the Mog mount, the little fat Moogle mount, or the Zoo mount, the bird mount. So we'll up the ante on that one. Let's see if, yeah, however we spell that. He's typing it out, and I'm like, I'm not even sure if you spelled that way. So that other mount is easier. You have 6 days. Get it to us by Sunday. We'll read out the emails live here on the show. If you don't think you will win, listen, you may be the only person that enters, and you'll get a free mount. You like free shit? let me give you free shit. That's all we want. We want to give you something. All you have to do is send us. It could be 3 sentences. It's like, it's samurai because I like samurai. If that's all you write, you may be the winner. You'll never know unless you try, and trying is half the battle. Speaking of trying, the Trial of Bahamut escape room is coming to the United States. I'm actually legit excited about that. Here in the States, this includes, let me get all the little areas. Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, coming to Phoenix, Houston, Orlando, Chicago, New York. This is going to be the Trial of Bahamut escape room. And to be honest, our FC mate and former co-host is up in Orlando, and he's already like, who's coming up to see me? Because I'm going to go do this. And I kind of want to drive up there to go do this because it's within driving distance of me. So I can read the little story real quick. The primal dragon Bahamut once wreaked havoc on the realm of Eorzea and brought the world to the brink of destruction. However, the Archon Louisoix and the Warriors of Light were able to stave off his onslaught and save the world from despair. With the strength of Bahamut vanished, Eorzea was restored and peace returned once more. 5 years later, Bahamut, believed to have long since perished, is secretly being revived deep within a subterranean ruin. The time remaining until his awakening 60 minute. Fuck. It ain't giving you a lot of time. Can you and your party stop the chaos before it begins? The battle for Eorzea starts now. So I'm dope excited. I kind of want to go. I want to see what prizes they give. So yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed that it's only in the United States.
And it's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer that's on Canada, because I think you could talk your coworkers to go into that.
I could easily talk a lot of people to go into that if it was around.
Yeah,
escape rooms are getting pretty big around here, and having one that's Final Fantasy themed, 14 or otherwise, would be pretty good.
Yeah, you can tell your people that you bring, like, yeah, I play this game. Do you guys want to join it? Absolutely. Anyway, speaking of slang, because she slays.
That was a terrible one. I'm
really
sorry.
You didn't like that one?
No, that one does not work.
No, man. Susan Calloway confirmed for new Final Fantasy 14 music. That was actually, this is true, guys. This is the 100%. Miss Susan Calloway is tapped for Final Fantasy 14 music. Now, this coming from this is Arnie Roth from the Distant Worlds did confirm this. So what we could take away from this, that new Uematsu is recording the theme for Stormblood. Susan Calloway is going to be involved in more Final Fantasy 14 music. I think our siren is going to be heard once again singing the intro to the Stormblood theme, which I hope that we hear in about 2 weeks ish, roughly about a week and a half, somewhere around there. We're close.
just under.
Week, yeah, it's a week and a half, a week from Saturday, so we're right there. So if you're going to Frankfurt, it's gonna be one hell of a show. So the Final Fantasy 14 is currently running a callback campaign. We didn't report on this. I think this had kind of started earlier in last month, and I missed. I suck
all the way back to January 17th.
I do suck as a person sometimes. I suck for this. I apologize. But guys, if you know anybody that's been away from the game for a while and you're like, damn, they've made some great improvements. PvP's been fixed. People will come back for a lot of new content. You can go and do the callback campaign. You can right click on a person's name and send them a, hey, poke, you want to come back? And guess what? It acts like a refer friend. They get bonuses, you get bonuses, there's mounts involved. Just come get people, play the game. It's going to be good times. I think it's going to be good times. So, Shin, I want this last thing. You and I need to talk a little bit about. This is going to be a little bit of thing we should talk about, because we both did this event.
It was a very, very short event.
Very fucking lacklusters. Valentine's Day. What? Describe to people what we did for Valentine's Day.
So the long version of everything is we went and we talked to 4 people, expressed our deep affection for them in a slightly disturbing way, in which they were all kind of surprised about. And then 2 minutes after we were done, we got to witness a potential invitation to a threesome, I think was the way that Lunavox mentioned it. And that was it. We finished really fast.
Yeah. I mean, when you get a potential invite to a threesome and you show up and it finishes really fast, I mean, you probably won't get invited next year to the threesome.
Probably doesn't help that we went and doted on a whole bunch of people.
You'd think the stamina would have been there after that.
You would have thought so. Although we did find out that you can't run away from the dote.
No. Once you dote, it chases you. The dote will follow. We were testing the dote out. Once we got the emote,
run, you cannot hide.
You cannot. You jump up, the dote curves up. The heart curves. It's so. This is the most work I've ever seen put into an emote. It's got heat-seeking tracking. It'll find you around a corner. It wants your face. Whatever that dote wants you. Chili in chat. My Lala was looking forward to the threesome. Chili, if it's a threesome with a Lala, is that called a mashed potato? So, no.
No, I'll allow that one. That was
all right. Thank you. All right, cool. Thanks.
I was gonna. Does it really count as a threesome if there's a Lala fell involved, or is it like 2.5 some?
It's like 2.5. I was gonna say 2.5 men, but maybe. Who are we to judge? Listen, what 2 people do in a room with a Lalafell is their business.
Yes, please don't tell us.
Yeah, no. It could. I don't. Anyway, we logged in. We instantly just bought the minion. There was like no questing to be done. It was all extra fluff. Really, you didn't have to do anything other than talk to some people and get a dote. I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit because we kind of have a main talking point from my good friends at MMORPG.com. Klaus in chat, lots of couples share French fries. Does that make those threesomes too? Depends how you share the French fries. The definition of the sharing, I mean, it just depends what you're doing while you're sharing the French fries. It's the act of,
The act of sharing.
Yeah, the act of sharing is fine. The action during the sharing is a different story. So, like I was saying, Bill Murphy, a lovely man, a guy who I actually do chat with a lot on Twitter, runs MMORPG.com. And if you've never been there, it's probably the largest main source for MMO like news across the spectrum of the genre. Anything involving MMOs, they have their hands in, like, some way, one way or another.
They got to be up there with massively overpowered too.
Yeah, exactly. So Bill Murphy has sat down with Yoshi P and had a interview with him on January 27th. So Final Fantasy 14 started off. Final Fantasy was MMORPG.com's pick for MMO of the year, and that's very much true, and that's kind of dope. Because that's not an easy thing to get, because sometimes a lot of their picks for MMO of the year is usually Warcraft. If it's not Warcraft, it's usually the flavor-esque of the month. Whatever, like, if it was some big free-to-play MMO, it's usually what they go for.
You could almost argue that Final Fantasy 14 was kind of the flavor of the month last year. It did really, really well.
It did, but it's still kind of carrying. I mean, we're normal players, so for us, it's a different story. But, considering that Donkeytron in chat's right, Final Fantasy is killing it right now. I mean, it really is super popular on Steam. A lot of people are still exiting WoW. Like, WoW's still having that issue where it's like 3 patches in, retention started to recede still. Granted, on the flip side, we could say the same thing where we'll release a patch and we won't get a little bit of content, so people leave, but people still come back. They're like, well, 2 weeks later, oh, new patch, I'm back. So I take that as it is. So one of the things that Bill Murphy had asked Yoshi P, what was the most difficult thing you faced? Shin, you want to go ahead and take that?
So Yoshida mentioned a couple things that are difficult when building a long-running MMO kind of like Final Fantasy 14. And so the main thing that he mentioned was that people are starting to get tired of the game just because it's been running for so long. The ultimate challenge, he said, for long-term MMOs is to find ways to dispel that sort of fatigue and bring a sense of excitement to players. So when you've been playing a game for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, like in the case of WoW, and 20 years in the case of EverQuest now, it's hard for players to get excited about new content. And this is something that they try to address through fan festivals, expansion packs, constant updates. They usually have one every 3 or 4 months. They're bringing in new content. They aim to bring something novel each time. We're getting stuff like Diadem and Palace of the Dead in between major content patches like the Dragonsong War, the new Alliance raids, and the expansions that have so far come every 2 years.
So taking that into consideration, do you believe that, like, I mean, let's take us for example. I think we're a perfect example for this. We took a small break. We went to go play Warcraft Legion. We went in those waters, and then we didn't go back to Final Fantasy at that point. But you and I went out to FanFest, and boy howdy, what happened after FanFest?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Well, not all of it.
Some of it ends up on YouTube.
I'm pretty sure Klaus streamed some me drinking a giant.
That was one big Eiffel Tower.
It was Eiffel Tower. Klaus in chat, shush. we got shush. So.
No, he said sushi.
Oh, sushi. I thought that was an exclamation point. Listen, it's been a long day. Yeah, no, sushi was fantastic. I'll do that anytime. Anytime in Vegas, I'll go make that march for sushi. For us, I think a lot of things happened. One, it lit the fire under my ass and a little bit for Maelstrom Radio. And it was such a great push because it reinvigorated me to do Maelstrom Radio. And not only that, I think from start to now, I've done more with Maelstrom Radio than I think I've done with any other of my podcasts that I hosted in the past. Far be it for me. Like, I'm way more excited to do this show every Monday. Shin and I discuss constantly through the week like what we can do to make this show better, and it gets me excited to play the game every week. So it's something new we could talk about, and that's one of the reasons why we want to grow our FC and grow that static. So be a part
It
of it.
probably helps that you have a co-host that doesn't do a lot with the whole podcast, so you
Yeah,
have to do more.
I do. I do. I do a lot on this side. Shin does a lot on the website, but since it's kind of in place, Shin just kind of push it. It's fine. It's
I
fine.
say that I do lots of work.
Speaking of which, we started looking for a third co-host. So if you're interested, just have a decent mic and a quality camera. That's all we want, really. That may be a differing opinion from us because we tend to agree. So not only that, that it reinvigorated us playing Final Fantasy 14. I think we hit it harder than we did before. We came back. We started running what else came into play? We did that. We also ran through.
We started running some of the Alliance raids. We got through the Crystal Tower series when we realized that Ether Oils were a thing. And then we eventually got into the Void Arc series and completed all of that. I think we kind of went from, we had really done no raids, no extremes, nothing, to with this latest patch. I think we did Dunskate 3 days into the patch and successfully completed it.
Yeah, we rocked that shit.
So we've definitely kind of kicked it up a notch and started exploring more of the content of Final Fantasy now. We've tried to experience all the different things. We still haven't gotten past Floor 100 and Palace of the Dead, but that's more due to time and trying to find people that will be interested in running that.
We beat 100. We just haven't gotten past like one something.
No, we haven't beaten 100, or we haven't passed it. We haven't got past 100. We've completed
right.
up to 100, but
we
need a fixed party to continue.
That's right. We forgot the rules. We were like, well, we beat 100. I was like, oh shit, there's rules. There's stipulations with this bullshit.
But we've started gearing up a little bit better. We've gotten a little bit closer to that end game content. I think 270 is where the high end raid gear stuff is now, with 260 being the cap from the scripture. And I know I'm pretty much fully geared at this point, minus the raid gear. I know you're really close as well. Some of our other FC mates are in a similar boat. They're pretty geared. We're starting to get ready for that static sort of content. We want to start trying out stuff like the Binding Coils of Bahamut that we haven't yet done. We've already been clearing the Void Arc series and the Crystal Tower series. And now we want to try also Alexander and try some of that content too.
Yeah, and it's a lot of, for us, it's a little bit of that. We are the gluttons for punishment. Like, we know we can go in there unsynced and go clear that shit right now. Like, we still have to do a little bit of mechanics, but we know we can just go clear it. Nah, I'm more of we're going to go in synced and bang our head against that wall a couple times till we get it right.
Synced for life.
Yeah. So, and that's how we roll. Yet again, Bill Murphy asks, favorite update of 2016. Shin, do you want to go ahead and see what Yoshi P has to say about his favorite update?
Both my favorite update and Yoshi's favorite update coincide here. It's patch 3.3, the conclusion of the Dragon Song War. He was really excited with this patch just because he was involved with creating the battles, the music, the cutscenes, and to quote the article, the lingering memory that was befitting for the finale of the Dragon Song War story arc. So with all of this, he had a lot of impact, and he was involved heavily with the whole Dragon Song War saga, especially considering that they were still working on a lot of content from 1.0 and 2.0 up until recently, and now they're starting to get into more content that is very, very specifically his. As well, with that, there was a lot of emotional response to both the Dragon Song War, the Heavensward arcs, the current content coming out, and the expectations of what's going to be in 4.0. And they're trying to put even more effort into the main story quests for the future so that players can continue to enjoy this heavy invested storyline, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. 3.3 is probably my favorite. I think that introduced a lot of content to the game. Of course, we got the finishing arc with Nidhogg, which yet again, glutton for punishments. We banged our head against our walls until we completed that that damn fight.
That was a great fight, though.
It's so good. So listen. I'm not gonna say I'm a guy who likes to toot my own horn, but fuck, I'm tooting my FC's horn and the people that we run with, because hot
Because
damn,
none of them were there when we cleared it.
there's that also. But like for Dune Scathe and stuff, God, like hot damn, like it took us a couple turns, but when we roll in there though, we show up. We know what's going down, we know what to expect, and I think we're probably on the better side of doing that content, which I'm down for. So he goes on and asks resolutions for 2017, and I'll take this one.
It builds off nicely off of the previous question.
It does. Keeping / improving the quality of Stormblood. I love that. Just that line. We'll come back and hit these. He believes players consider their high level of quality all around to be routine and strives to continue that with future content. Next adventures have the Warriors of Light embarking underwater and engaging in more surprising content and gameplay experiences like the new raid Return to Ivalice. His goal is to release the content as planned. Now, keeping and improving the quality of Stormblood. I love that. Like, I love that Yoshi P doesn't rest on his laurels. There's never, like, I don't want to say that Heavensward was a rest on, like, oh, we just need to implement certain things. I think Heavensward was this content was here. We had this ready. So they released it, but I think it gave them a chance to test some stuff out, like to see what could work and what they can expand upon in Stormblood. Because clearly Diadem is something that they're fixing and we're going to get in a couple of weeks. But also, we already know that Diadem's going to be like kind of like they're looking at Diadem and saying, how can we implement that to make that the lost continent of Eureka? Right? I got
something
it right.
Like that. Yeah.
Something. Yeah, I'm going to say that's it. So I'm down. I'm down that they got the money. I'm down that and I know not all that money could be going towards the game. I know some of that could be server side, that could be tech, that could be hiring more people. But guess what, guys? Hiring more people, more coders, more people to develop your game. Guess what? That's a good sign that the game is prosperous and that it's growing. So, and I've been on the side of MMOs that have not gotten that. So, like, I mean, Rift.
It's never good when the next thing that's coming loses all of their developers to another game.
Yeah. Are you taking a jab? You taking a jab there?
It still hurts. It still hurts.
Is it jab? You son of a bitch. I know there's like one person that undergot that. He's like, shit.
Too soon.
Yep. That's it. But for anyone that doesn't know, that was an EverQuest next jab. It was an EverQuest next jab. That's what he was going for. So also, I'm excited for the return of Ivalice. I don't want it to be so ingrained into Final Fantasy 12. I kind of hope it's its own thing. I would be okay with the world. I know the world. I would because the world's been used before, so I'm kind of cool with that. I hope it's a 14 take on that world. I just don't. Although I would like Han Solo and Sexy Chewbacca. Although I would be okay with that. Sexy Chewbacca. Shin, go look up Final Fantasy 12. Wait, what's wrong?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna go and start Google searching "sexy Chewbacca." That's just never gonna end well.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Go do that. It's great. You'll love it. Anyway, listen. If you don't start your day off with a good Google search of Han Solo and sexy Chewbacca, I don't know where you're at in life right now.
This is why you're on a list.
And what list? I'm on tons of lists, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to in-game jail yet, so I'm doing pretty good.
One list we can be sure that we're not on yet. I think you can definitely see like this though. I really like that he knows that as players we think that the quality of the content that they're coming out with is pretty high. Like, there's a very high bar that they've set, and they know it. And they're not like, wait, we've set a high bar. How are we going to ever do this? It's no, we're going to try to keep at least that good, and we're going to aim to be better than that. And a lot of times you see games just kind of resting on their laurels, like, oh yeah, we're a big name game that's been around for 20 years.
Warcraft?
Let's just keep putting out the same old stuff over and over and over again every couple of years.
Warcraft. You can say Warcraft. It's Warcraft.
I was actually thinking of EverQuest here.
Or EverQuest.
EverQuest 2, Warcraft, they all kind of fall into that same category now where actually Warcraft's latest expansion, Legion, did quite well about kind of breaking out of that norm and introducing some new content. And I haven't looked at EverQuest 1 or EverQuest 2 in a while, but the last time that I had played EverQuest 2, it was just kind of the same old thing, slightly tweaked, but for more or less, it hadn't really innovated a lot.
Doctor on the chat. They all shit. They all shit! Exclamation point. All of them. Yeah, no, you're right. Warcraft did make some changes, but being a longtime Warcraft player, I will still say that Blizzard has figured out a solid way of taking, like, it's almost like a puzzle piece, right? A puzzle piece that never ends. Like, it can constantly take a piece out here and implement it this way and make it fit, and it'll be like, oh, look at this new content. But really, this, like, you're just looking at it from a different angle. And if you're a smart player, consumer of MMOs, you could be like, all right, I saw what you did. You just took this one thing and turned it on its side, and it's still that same thing. You just tweaked it slightly. I am smart to that. And I see that even sometimes with Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy admits it. Like, they know, like, oh, like, Yoshi P right up and says, like, oh, I take this, but then I do. But I like the idea is, like, not taking this and just twisting it. It's taking that and expanding. Like, it's a small thing that we implemented, but looking into the future, like, that's such a smart thing to do. Klaus in chat, it's totally new. It's a different color. That's been done in Warcraft. I'm not gonna lie, they did that before. They pulled that wool over people's eyes. They're like, oh, look at all these new gear sets, and it's like, wait a minute, it's the same gear set, just slightly different colors. You bastard. So things to look forward to. Not much new. New raid content, underwater, MSQ. That is comparable in scope to the brand new RPG, new jobs. So what this means is that like, it's gonna be new raid content, the underwater stuff, the MSQ, and then that of course is gonna be a comparable in itself to a scope of a brand new RPG. So there's gonna be a lot of content in the MSQ, and there's gonna be the new jobs. Now I say z with an S because we don't know. Jobs could be 2. That's multiple of 1. So there's 2. Could be 3. We don't know.
It's also a multiple of 1.
Everything.
In fact, most numbers are multiples of 1.
What about negative numbers?
They are multiples of 1.
What's 0?
Also multiple of 1.
Is it?
Yes. If you take 0 and multiply it by 1, you get 0.
Today on Math with Maelstrom, we dig deep in the multiples of 1.
Yeah, with some of the stuff to look forward to, we're kind of in between Tokyo Fan Fest back in December and the European Fan Fest in March. There's not really any content that they want to release at this point. There's no reason to build hype. There's no reason to tell us things. There's no reason to give us any new information because we're getting a whole whack of it in a couple weeks, and it's going to be a lot of info.
It really is. Now, we didn't have this in our show notes, but I do remember it from the article itself that Yoshi P did make a very solid big point to say that the biggest bomb, the biggest part of the news for Stormblood is going to come at Frankfurt. So, oh, holy mother hell. Oh, I'd like to point out that Shinter currently, like, highlighted. Now, what? Quick behind the scenes, I set up the notes, right? I set up the notes, like, kind of give us, like, what we're talking about. Shin will come back through and then, like, rework it so it's more legible and flows for a better show.
Okay, let's point this out. He copy and pasted the article into the show notes, and then I actually made notes out of it all so that we could go through it.
That's how it works. That's how. Now, to be fair,
And I had actually mentioned that point that you were about to bring up,
yeah,
and wanted to point it out. So I
remember that whole thing? Like, I do a lot behind the scenes here. I do, I do a lot. He does that. That's what he does. Although when I have a Monday off, though, it's fantastic because I do a lot of shit. I get so much shit done for the show. It's great. And then Skype takes over my mic and fucks it all out. Anyway. So, upcoming events, Little Ladies Day is coming back. Group of NPCs working hard as an idol group in Eorzea. I would like to get a song out of that. Like, just a actual pop song. Maybe we'll get Ariana Grande's remix from Exvius.
I know that you're gonna be looking forward to
Nashu's
sister. Yep.
Oh.
Your favorite idol.
She is my favorite.
You know, it'd be great. We should have like a collaboration between the idol group in Eorzea and the Aqua Gleam Hunter Force.
Aqua Gleam Hunter. Listen, that is
That's our crossover now. We have a crossover.
Dear Square, you gave us the greatest thing that you don't even realize that you gave us. We created a magical girl group called Aqua Gleam Hunter Force. Yet you fail to recognize that our greatest magical girl group ever is not in your game ever, and we at Maelstrom Radio would love to see the Aqua Gleam Hunter Force come around. You know what, though? We are going underwater, and I'd be damned if I don't see the Aqua Gleam Hunter Force when we can dive. They are magical mermaid girls. So.
Then the new goddess is coming out in the next patch, next expansion.
Yeah, that's their, like, Zordon. That's their mother. Like, Power Rangers, Zordon,
Yeah, no, I caught that. I was just kind of confused how it was related.
I don't know. Like, Super Sentai? Listen, man, I don't know anymore. Like, I don't know. What happened? Let's talk about Make It Rain.
Yeah, so on that note, let's make it rain.
Yeah,
Gold Saucer Festival's coming back.
Yep. So I'm glad because I'm MGP broke. So
you want to pelt people with a little gold gill?
I just need more ways to get MGP. I never win the big cackpot, little cackpot. I'm okay with. Sometimes I hit the trifecta, get 30 Gs. I do the weeklies. I get my money that way, but I'm still like only like almost near 300.
Between the chair mount and Fenrir there's no winning. It's 1.75 million total, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Just for those two.
That's right. We can buy MGP boosts with the guilds. I mean, Klaus, the thing is we have a lot of people leveling, so we keep buying heated battles. Cause we're nice. We're a nice FC. I mean, I could do it. And I get a cloud guy. Listen, honestly, I don't know if Donkatron's still here, but you want to hear a guy complain that he's at the gold saucer. That guy is farming MGP and hating every minute of it.
I mean, I'd probably be okay with the golden saucer a little bit more if the music wasn't so repetitive.
I would love an orchestrion role there, like, so we could play our own music over there.
Yes, that would be great. Donkatron loves the golden saucer.
Donkatron in chat, all caps, fuck that place. All caps. Every cap.
I think it's actually kind of interesting that he specifically called out the All Saints Wake event from last year, in that they used existing content from dungeons and the like in these events. Like, I don't know, for those who weren't there for the All Saints Wake event from 2016, they brought in they brought in a dungeon and had all new events happening within that dungeon that was just for this event. It was Hawk Manor, and they just brought in a whole bunch of new mini quests. Basically, you had a group that queued specifically for that. You got in there, you explored, you did the events. It was all new, but in existing areas. So it was kind of neat just to see how they could use that existing content for new reasons.
Yes. And that's something more he wants to do going forward with Stormblood, is taking older content, reworking it for holiday events and such. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. I want more of that in my holiday events.
I think it's really important too that like they're not just reusing this content in the same way that they have before. A lot of games like doing hard modes of dungeons, for example, where it's just the exact same thing with slightly harder creatures in it, or the boss has one or two extra mechanics. But Final Fantasy seems to again and again have new hard modes, but they're either a completely different wing of the dungeon, or it's a different you get a different map in that sense, or they have completely different bosses, completely different feels. A lot, or more recently, it seems to be even new music for these zones.
Yes, and I think some people that have not played other MMOs may take that for granted. Having played EverQuest and EverQuest 2 and World of Warcraft, let me tell you something. Like playing just a hard, like you go to WoW and play a hard mode of WoW's dungeon. It's just the WoW dungeon again, just slightly harder. The same thing. It's the same content. Imagine doing the same content but slightly harder. And again, and then slightly harder again, because they just ramp it up a little. They just take the knob and go boop. That's it. I'd rather get the hard mode dungeon. At least I'm getting a brand new dungeon. I don't know. I'm just saying, appreciate what you have, because I have played the gamut of games, and not all of them have supply a new story and continuation of their dungeons. If WoW does it, they do it 3 expansions later, and they retweak the whole dungeon, and it's just a whole new dungeon at that point. But it's not like I can still do the old one. The old one's gone. It's just gone. It's no more. It doesn't exist in the world anymore. They just have the new one. So look at it like that. And who knows? Maybe they'll go back and do extreme dungeons, and it'll be another. Who the hell knows? I don't know what they're doing anymore. Anyway, Stormblood news. More Stormblood news. Slightly more.
Well, not really though.
No. All right, so we know that European Fan Fest is in Frankfurt, Germany, February 18th, 2017. That is not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, and I am totally okay with that. Sponsored by Mountain Dew and Doritos. I'm pretty sure that's a Overwatch joke. That's an Overwatch. European Fan Fest. So I'm totally excited. Like I said, I'm going to buy my ticket this Friday, or as soon as I get my tax return back. So whichever happens first. Either one of those things is gonna happen. So I'll be getting my European Fan Fest ticket. Going to be pre-ordering my game. A lot of things are happening. Square is getting a lot of my money. Chili, yeah, go pester SE. Also, Chili, pester SE for me. Just to be like, hey, you know about Maelstrom Radio? They're kind of cool. Also, Aqua Gloom Hunter Force. Maybe don't mention that. Like maybe like we'll mention us first, and then like wait a couple months and then mention. Like get us in first, and then we pitch the idea. Anyway, so Final Stop revealing some big news info. It's like remember that big info thing that I talked about? Here it is in the damn notes. So
I want to leave a really important piece of information from this article.
Oh, you mean that Final Stop revealing some big info during keynote?
Yeah, that thing. Or the largest piece of Stormblood news will come to light.
Yeah. What do you think that is? Let's discuss that. Let's stop what we're fucking doing, because this is where we would stop. And
it was a good time to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah. All right. So you can buy the stream. Don't forget you can go buy the stream, but listen, there's gonna be a lot of us out there, content creator wise, live tweeting, live streaming our reactions. Shin and I will probably be here awake. I'll be in a hoodie, half dead asleep like this at the screen. Like, guys, it's so exciting. Shin will probably be here too, or sleeping and be like, fucking, you're an idiot. The two things are going to happen. You may see us. I may figure out a way if other certain co-hosts of or other hosts of other shows want to come and just hang out with one big Discord group and just all of us chat and stream on our different channels, and we can send out that link where everybody could watch all of our streams at once. We can do that, maybe hinting out at Klaus if he's going to be awake.
I'm just going to. I know Chili's gonna ask again if it meets him.
Yes, Chili, you too.
So specifically, we are making that point.
Yeah.
You are invited.
Yes, you are, Chili. Also, Klaus is like, huh? What? What's going on? Sounds nice to me. So yeah, if you're welcome, if you're gonna be up during that time, and you want to just chill out in Discord with us and just chat about the news and stuff, we can do that live. I may pass out. It's super early here in the States for me. Anyway, so what do you think that big news is? Like, honestly, what do you think this giant, like, I mean, he made a big emphasis in this MMORPG like thing that like the biggest thing is going to be in that keynote. I mean, it's can't be Samurai or Blue Mage. So we know that's coming. That's not the like. That's not going to be big. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cool, and we want it. That's not big. Is it? Death? What?
I think we're definitely going to get some more information from the lore portion of the, like, where's the main story quest going? Where's that big hook? Like, we know that we started to pseudo invade Alamigo, and we've started kind of a war between the current allies and the Garlean forces over there through Belsor's Wall there and Mr. Sloppy. But I think there's going to be something more. Like, that's not quite enough to draw the Hero of Light or the Warrior of Light into this battle. Like, yes, there's a thing, but you know, it hasn't really escalated a whole lot yet. And we definitely have seen a little bit, especially with the sacrifice that Papamomo did as part of patch 3.5 part 1.
Spoilers.
We've talked about this before, and I don't think that this is the last that we've seen of him, but there's got to be something there. And we know that they've mentioned that there are major spoilers that they didn't show us within the trailer because we haven't seen patch 3.5 yet. So I'm guessing that we might end up seeing finally the full trailer for this, which will give us a lot more information, which might give us some more context around what happened with Papamomo, what's in the giant primal prison ball orb that previously was taking care of Bahamut. And we might finally get to figure out who Mystery Girl is.
It's gonna be some big stuff. For me, I'm down, man. I'm so ready because I remember from the trailer, Nero Tolskavia coming and saying, "What are you gonna do? Just send in your Warrior of Light again?" Like, I mean, he makes a good fucking point. Like, we discussed that on episode 5 or 7, where we were talking about the Warrior. We did a little history of the Warrior of Light, and I went through my breakdown and rant of the 2.0 series. That through the whole 2.0 series, it was just like the Warrior of Light will do this, the Warrior of Light will do this, and then it takes this NPC who was kind of a dick, but he's a realist. I mean, the dude's a realist. Comes in and just said, yeah, but a dick. But he's like, listen, what are you gonna do? Just send in your dude you're gonna rely on every time. Do something for yourselves for once. It's an interesting concept. It's the first time that in the Final Fantasy series, Shinter in chat, Nero, Chili in chat says it's the daddy of light. He will be canon. Shinter, Nero is the daddy of light. So Nero Tolskavia comes in and it's just like, bro, like, you can't just keep doing that. You can't just send him in expecting for the best. I would be interested to see that for once. Maybe we are thrown into an ambiguous state. We always know we're doing good, right? Like, as our characters, we always know that what we're doing is for the right. May it be, you know, stopping the Garleans, stopping Nidhogg. We always do the right thing. But what if we're not? What if this time what we're doing, we're not sure of? What if it's so ambiguous we're not sure if what we're going to do is right or wrong? Like, we understand that the guy, we know that Mr. Big Bad is going to do something that we totally disagree with as a Garlean, because Garleans kind of make, so far the Garleans still to this point make it a point to make sure that we're like, they ain't so bad. But it would be interesting from the standpoint of me, from the player, to be like, shit, is this going to be the point where I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Could be a weird story hook. Or like Donatron said in chat, it's probably just Kafka. So, if it's Kafka, I mean, we're fucked at that point. So, for me, I have no final thoughts with the keynote until we see it in a couple weeks. Next week, Monday, I believe that Shin and I are probably going to do a predictions cast where we kind of predict what, like a little bit like we did now, but I think we're going to predict jobs. He may say blue mage, they may say samurai, we may say both. The story, some of the dungeons, some of the hints we're going to get, so some good stuff. So come next week, join us. If LS fails, we'll make you laugh, and if that fails, well, we'll still have a show here. So as we all know, we are live here every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 Pacific. You can get our recorded audio podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Please give us a like, subscribe, and a review on those places, please. That will help us out immensely. That's how people find us. We are the lowest of the totem of the Final Fantasy XIV podcast, and it's not a race to see who's best. We just want to be up there with the rest of them. And that's not much of an ask for two guys with some mics, because we're both dummies. But we are striving to make Maelstrom Radio something.
Make Carbuncle happy.
Yeah, give Carbuncle a smile.
He doesn't look very impressed.
He just never. Honestly, sometimes when we're done doing the show, I feel like Carbuncle. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we could have done so much more. And if you're hearing this, you're like, hey, I have a decent mic, and I disagree with these guys. I want to do the show with them. Listen, we don't know who our third host will be.
And you're available around 8 p.m. on Mondays.
Yeah, that's probably, you gotta give up your Monday. But listen, you're welcome here. Also, we probably should get some guest hosts on. Like, I know that Musecast wanted to come on, and that's something we want to do for you guys. So if you are interested in hearing like two guys that never roleplayed in the Final Fantasy verse, I don't know about. I've roleplayed like D&D, but never in Final Fantasy. So we'd like to get Musecast on and discuss roleplaying in Final Fantasy, how that is on a smaller server, and open up two guys that don't really RP in this game to that side of doing things. Chili, like we have tons of things coming down the pipeline. Of course, 2 weeks we have other stuff coming with the European Fan Fest. You can hit us up on maelstromradio.com. You can hit us up on email us at show@maelstromradio.com. I'm going to repeat the email like that. Seriously, go do that, guys. If you're listening to the show live right now, just go send us an email. We don't care if you do another show. If you just just send us something. And listen, you get a mount. You get a free mount. Chiku, chiku, chiku. That's the mount, the noise. It's like a... Shut up, Shin. It's it's a mount. That's the noise it makes. Twitter is at Maelstrom Radio. Man, I don't know anymore. I mean, they're here already at twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. I could repeat to say, give us a like and give us all the ratings. Give us the ratings.
You want to see more from us.
I mean, how much more can we show them legally on Twitch?
It's not what I was inferring, but...
All right. Well, Shin, I think I owe you a beer at the Drowning Wench. For Shinterzaret, my name is Flatus. This has been Maelstrom Radio. We'll see you all next Monday for more shenanigans. Thank you all for coming out. And until see us swallows all, keep listening.
Maelstrom Radio is a production of MaelstromRadio.com, Blackfire Media Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Opening theme provided by Benjamin Anthony James. You can find more of their music over at soundcloud.com/Ben773. Our outro is provided by Sodo. You can find more of their music over at soundcloud.com/Sodo. Views and opinions expressed on this episode are those of Maelstrom Radio and their hosts, and do not reflect the views and opinions of Square Enix. And until sea swallows all, keep listening.